What if you could feel someone saying goodbye before anyone told you they were gone? Imagine waking up in the middle of the night with an overwhelming feeling that suddenly disappears, only to discover hours later that your mother passed away at that exact moment. This is one of the most touching and unforgettable episodes in Dear Mama, March 25th, 2020. This episode opens with a new chapter in Kombani's life as he joins secondary school. Like many Form 1 students, he experiences the usual challenges of adapting in boarding schools. Fortunately, he settles in quickly and makes a close friend named Adam, who introduces him to hip hop and rap music. Mama remains deeply interested in Kombani's education. She insists that every examination results should be shown to the Mbuguas as a way of expressing gratitude for the support they have given the family. Besides academics, Kombani actively participates in the Writers' Club. His talent for drawing cartoons earns him recognition, although one satirical cartoon criticizing school issues nearly lands him in trouble. Fortunately, because of his excellent discipline and impressive academic performance, the teachers choose not to punish him. Everything changes on 2nd March 1998. During class, Kombani is unexpectedly called out by the deputy principal. Thinking he's about to be punished for the controversial cartoon, he nervously walks out. Instead, he finds his elder brother Karis waiting outside. Karis quietly informs him that Mama is sick. He explains further that Mama has been admitted to Kiambu District Hospital and that her condition is very serious. The two travel to Nairobi and spend the night at Karis' small house in Gando before visiting the hospital the following morning. Then something extraordinary happens. At exactly 2 a.m., Kombani suddenly feels an unbearable heaviness inside him. Without explanation, the feeling disappears, leaving him strangely peaceful. At the time, he cannot understand what has happened. The following morning, they arrive at the hospital. Their grandmother, Shosho, gently breaks the heartbreaking news. Mama has passed away. Karis breaks down in tears. Surprisingly, Kombani does not cry immediately. Instead, he realizes that deep inside, he already knew. He believes that the strange feeling he experienced at exactly 2 o'clock was Mama's spiritual farewell. This episode ends with Kombani accepting the painful reality that the woman who sacrificed everything for him is gone forever. 26th March 2020. Episode 11 begins with Kombani struggling to cope with the loss of his mother. He feels angry, confused, and emotionally empty. Before Mama's death, he had dreamt of becoming a doctor so that he could one day cure her illness. Now that she's gone, those dreams no longer seem meaningful. Although he returns to school, he attends classes without motivation. He studies mechanically, no longer believing that education has any purpose. Even when filling out university application forms, he does so without interest, convinced that higher education is no longer important. After completing school, Kombani moves to Nairobi to stay with his brothers instead of returning to Njoro. Life in the city proves extremely challenging. Searching for distraction, Kombani discovers pool. What begins as entertainment soon develops into an obsession. He spends countless hours in pool halls, starts betting on games, and gradually misuses money meant for groceries and rent to finance his gambling. Realizing he needs income, Kombani tries several businesses. He works briefly as a door-to-door knife salesperson, but the job proves difficult because few people are interested in buying the expensive knives. He later experiments with making plaster curios for sale, but the business also fails. Despite these setbacks, Kombani gains valuable experiences. He tutors his landlady's daughter, where he learns computer skills and becomes a fast typist with knowledge of Microsoft Office programs. He also befriends talented artists who earn money by painting shop signboards and decorating storefronts. Through them, he witnesses how some employers exploit hardworking young people by refusing to pay them fairly. One day, Karis informs Kombani that he had been admitted to Kenyatta University. Kombani refuses the opportunity because he still sees no purpose in further education. However, Karis refuses to give up on him. He persistently encourages Kombani to visit the university before making a final decision. Reluctantly, Kombani agrees. His first impression of the university is disappointing. Nothing about the campus excites him. Then something unexpected happens. While walking around, he discovers a building filled with pool tables. Ironically, the very game that had distracted him from life now becomes the reason he decides to stay at the university. Although his decision is influenced by pool, enrolling at Kenyatta University ultimately becomes the turning point that helps him regain direction and begin rebuilding his future. Now, let us look at the themes in the 2 episodes. The first theme is the theme of grief and bereavement. The text deeply explores the devastating impact of losing a parent. The narrator describes feeling like an automaton, simply going through the emotions and losing all motivation to pursue his dreams or education after his mother's death. Next is the theme of parental sacrifice. The mother sacrificed immensely, moving homes and enduring hardships so her children could receive an education. We have the theme of poverty and urban hardship. The letters depict a continuous struggle against poverty, from living in a single corrugated iron sheet room in Gando that flooded with dirty water and sewage to managing severe water shortages and squeezing budgets just to get by. There is the theme of addiction and escapism. To cope with his reality, the narrator falls deep into an obsession with pool games and betting. This addiction escalates to dangerous grounds, leading him to gamble away grocery and rent money. Let us look at the stylistic devices. There is the use of flashback. The narrator uses extensive flashbacks to navigate between different timelines, recalling his Form 1 days, the school cartoon controversy, the night his mother passed away in 1998, and his life post-high school. There is the use of local dialect. The text incorporates localized terminologies and direct Kikuyu expressions like Namwaka, have you come, and Maunda Mothe ni Madhiru. Everything is finished to ground the setting authentically. Symbolism is another style. It appears through the mysterious heaviness Kombani feels at 2 a.m., symbolizing Mama's final goodbye. Irony is yet another style used. It is ironic that pool, a game that almost ruined Kombani's future, becomes the reason he finally agrees to register at the university. Now, let us look at the moral lessons in the 2 episodes. We learn from the 2 episodes the value of unwavering family support. When life completely derails due to tragedy, family stands as the ultimate safety net. Karis' persistent encouragement, even when the narrator made excuses and resisted going to university, shows that we must look out for one another and pull our family members up when they are too weak to see their own potential. We also learn that short-term escapes can lead to dangerous paths. Turning to vices, betting, or addictions like the pool hall serves as a temporary distraction from grief, but it ultimately creates destructive risks. Squeezing budgets and gambling away essential rent money highlights how easily escapism can compromise a person's livelihood and stability. Finally, we learn that it is important to honor the sacrifices of loved ones by persevering. The mother fought a hard battle and sacrificed her own well-being to give her children a chance at a better life through education. Even when grief makes you want to give up entirely, pushing forward and fulfilling your potential is the ultimate way to honor the legacy of those who sacrificed for you. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.